I hope you saw my last video where I told you that you were afraid. Yes, I was talking about the 3 things that stand between you and what you want as an entrepreneur, and the first was fear. Hi, I'm Michelle Sism, and I wanted to talk to you about the second thing that's standing between you and what you want as an entrepreneur. It is that you're cheap. Now, I'm not talking about green spandex cheap, okay, not that kind of cheap. What I'm talking about is that you're not pricing your products and services where you should be. I see it all the time. I talk to entrepreneurs and they'll say, well, I can't charge more because Susie has a degree and she doesn't charge anymore, or I can't charge more because Fred's been in the industry for 40 years and this is what he charges. You know, that is not the way we should be pricing our products and services. What I know is that there are 3 ways that businesses compete. The first way is on price. This is what we call the Walmart version, right? When you're competing on price. For the majority of you watching this, I don't think that price is where you should be competing, right? You do not want to be the Walmart of your industry. The second way that businesses compete is on value. This is maybe somewhere where you need to play. So listen, you know, in the last, say, 20 years ago, the owners of diners all over this country were thinking, gosh, we can never charge more than $1 for a cup of coffee. What does Starbucks come in and do? They come in and start charging, what, $5, $6, $7, $8 for a cup of coffee that you could get for $1 from a diner. But what they did was they came in and they understood how to articulate their value to their ideal client. They created an atmosphere, a relationship, a place where people wanted to be, wanted to hang out. Okay? When they created that value, they could set that price point at anything pretty much. People will show up to buy their coffee. So I want you to look at how do you set your value. The third way that businesses compete is on convenience. This is the whole idea of selling bottled water, right? When we could walk to the tap and get water, but we like the convenience of the bottle. It's easy to travel with. It's just become the way we do things. So the idea of looking in your business at what is the convenience that you provide and articulating that as well. So there is the second reason that I see most entrepreneurs having problems. I have to tell you, I talk about this often, and so I was in front of an audience a couple of days ago, and I told them that there were 3 things standing between them and what they wanted. Number 1 was that they're afraid. Number 2 was that they're cheap, and number 3 is that they're lazy. And we'll talk about lazy at another time. But I had a woman who actually sent me an email after that talk, and she said, Michelle, I'm none of those 3. I'm not afraid, I'm not cheap, and I'm not lazy, but it's still not working. I'm not making enough money in my business, so can we talk? So we got on the phone the next day, and she said, I'm not afraid. I'll do the follow-up. I'll make all the calls. And I'm not cheap. And I said, okay, great. So how much do you normally charge? She's an event planner. She said, well, my average contract is about $10,000. I said, okay, good. And she said, well, you know, out of that, I have to pay all the subcontractors. I said, okay. I said, how much of that is yours? She said, about $1,500. I said, okay, great. So is that just for a 1-day job? And she said, well, you know, the event's 1 day, but it takes me about 8 weeks to put it on. Well, there's the problem. To her, it didn't look like she's being cheap, right? It looked like she's signing a $10,000 contract, but in reality, she's signing a $1,500 contract for 8 weeks of work. That's still cheap. So it's very important that we stop sometimes and look at what it is that we're doing and how we're thinking about that, and what's the reality versus what we think we're seeing. Okay. So this is Michelle Sism, and I know you enjoyed this tip, so I want you to visit me at my website, www.decisiveminds.com, for more information. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.